Hi, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Josh.
And welcome to our part 2. If you watched our part 1, we spoke about just our pregnancy journey and how it started. It actually started with me doing a biblical fast for 2 weeks. And at the end of those 2 weeks, we actually found out we were pregnant, which was amazing. And God was just moving in so many ways. But to fast forward, we lost that pregnancy due to ectopic pregnancy. And God just put it on my heart to share our testimony and our journey for those who may be going through something similar. I know I shared it in the first video. When I was going through my grieving process, I couldn't really find a lot of videos. So again, this is just me trying to do my part and help those who may be going through something similar. But to rewind, before we even took the test and found out we were pregnant, my daughter actually told me I was pregnant. We were taking a nap. And she's 2. And I remember her just randomly saying, like, we didn't fall asleep yet, but I was trying to put her to sleep. And she randomly said, "Oh, Mama got a baby in her tummy." And I was like, "What did you say?" And she's like, "Mama got baby in her tummy." And I was just like, "What are you talking about?" And we were trying at the time, but it was just random for her to say. And so we took a test a couple days later and it was positive.
Right.
How did you feel when you seen the test?
I was shocked. Because realistically, I had kind of, put it to the side or to the back of my mind because we had been trying for quite some time to no avail. So at the time that we had the positive test, I really wasn't thinking about it at all. So, it was kind of surreal to finally see that positive.
And during that time with my insurance, my first pregnancy, I had Kaiser and it was like a totally different process. But this time I had Blue Shield and I had to get a referral to see someone. And it was just a headache because like my referral got transferred to someone else and I couldn't get an appointment. Appointments were canceled. And then my first actual appointment with the doctor wasn't until 12 weeks, which I think if it wasn't my second pregnancy, I would have been stressed out even more. But I was like, okay, I've been pregnant before. It's fine. Like, it is what it is. But I remember we were so impatient that we did the sneak peek gender reveal because I was like, I'm not waiting 12 weeks. So we did the sneak peek gender reveal and we found out that we were having a baby girl a week before we actually lost her. So yeah, before we go into the details of, our journey as far as the ectopic details, I just kind of wanted to tell the people like what an actual ectopic pregnancy is.
Right. So to my knowledge, and I'm not an expert, you can actually do your own research to get the, formal definition of it. But to our understanding is just when the egg is not planted in the right place and it implants outside of the uterus. And in your case, it implanted in the fallopian tube.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it's really rare. And it only happens in 1 to 2% of pregnancies. And like once you put numbers to it, that's 1 to 2 pregnancies out of 100. Like that's crazy. Yeah. And it's normally caught early on. I was told around 6 to 8 weeks they normally catch it. And it can be treated with medication and surgery too. But again, not experts at that. So I'll let you guys do that research. But to fast forward, or not fast forward, but to kind of start at the beginning of when the ectopic actually happened. I was at El Torito with some of my friends, and I remember I was having really bad cramps. And again, I'm at 12 weeks. Before I was having some cramps, but nothing crazy. And during that time, I was like, okay, these cramps are bad. Like I left early. And I remember calling you and I was telling you like something's wrong. Like I need to go to urgent care. And I was calling around the urgent cares, like which one I should go to. And I remember one lady told me, because she can just tell in my voice that I was in so much pain. She's like, you need to stop calling our urgent cares, because I was trying to find ones with ultrasounds. Or technicians. And she's like, you need to go to the ER. So I went to the ER, and at this point I was like in crazy amount of pain. Like it was, I can't even explain the pain. It was worse than childbirth. Like, to be honest, it was so bad, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I remember you got there with Nori, and then they told you Nori couldn't come in.
Right. So I had to leave and take her and drop her off to my parents' house so they could watch her while you kind of, dealing with that on your own.
Yeah. And I remember at one point, I knew something was wrong because of just the amount of pain I was in. It was just crazy. Like, I literally thought I was going to faint. And I remember telling the nurses, like, I was going to faint. She, like, put, I think it was, like, alcohol so I wouldn't faint. And I remember calling you and I was, like, screaming.
Right.
What were you thinking?
Typically I'm, pretty much an eternal optimist. I don't ever think the worst. But because you were in so much pain, I figured it had to be something serious because you were in pain for a long amount of time. And typically, if it's a cramp or something, it'll, come or go, but it just wasn't ending. So I just felt like, there's something going on, and I was just praying that it wasn't the worst. I was praying it was just something other than what it ended up being.
Yeah. I remember I was holding on to, because they kept asking me, like, oh, let us know if you start bleeding. Let us know if you start bleeding. But I wasn't bleeding. And so I kept holding on to that. And I also remember a nurse, like, I don't know if they were waiting for the ultrasound tech to be available. I don't know. But, like, they didn't really know because they knew what to do. But I feel like I was in so much pain. Like, they didn't really know how to comfort me. Like, they were trying their best. They were super nice. But, like, one nurse brought out, I don't know what they're called, but, like, where you listen to the heartbeat. And I remember the doctor came in and was like, she looked pissed that the nurse let me hear the heartbeat. But, like, hearing the heartbeat, like, kind of calmed my nerves a little bit too. Because I was like, okay, there's a heartbeat. I'm not bleeding. Maybe something else happened. I don't know that had something to do with the pregnancy. But the pain, the pain was unbearable. And you still weren't there. And they took me to what is it called? I'm drawing a blank. The ultrasound tech. So they did the ultrasound. And I remember I was asking her, like, what do you see? And she's like, oh, I can't tell you. Like, the doctor will go over it. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, something bad is happening. But then she's like, but you'll get the images on your app. So then I was like, okay, maybe it's not bad. But then we got back to the room and then you were there at that point. And then I remember them coming in and they were like, oh, we're so sorry, but it's an ectopic pregnancy. And at that point they didn't go into detail what that was. Did you, like, what? I knew what it was when I heard it and my heart just dropped. What were you thinking?
I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew it was what we did not want to hear. I guess somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew it was basically going to be the end of the pregnancy. That's like what I felt. I knew that. And then the look that you gave me confirmed what I thought that might have been. I didn't know the technical term, but I figured it was a pregnancy that couldn't move forward. But yeah.
And they literally said, like, oh, we'll give you a minute. And they literally gave us a minute. Like, it wasn't even, we couldn't even really talk about it.
Yeah, just to kind of try to wrap our heads around it.
And they walked back in and they told us what it was. They told us that she was implanted in my left fallopian tube and that it ruptured and that I was internally bleeding and that they had to rush me to get surgery, like, right then and there. And it just happened so fast. Like, I wasn't even able to process anything. It's like, you're like, what is going on? Like, they tell you that your pregnancy, they have to end your pregnancy. You have no choice. And that they actually told me they have to remove my left fallopian tube too because it ruptured. So it's like, there's no time to wrap my head around the loss of my baby, just everything that you're planning and you're looking forward, and then I'm losing a fallopian tube. Like, what does that even mean?
And that you have to go into emergency surgery right now.
And so I just remember I was shaking and crying and we were praying, but it was just horrible. But I remember waking up. At this point, it was because we went on May 2nd and then we had the surgery. It was probably like May 3rd, probably around midnight, to be honest. And then the surgery probably in around 2 or 3. And they actually allowed me to go home around that time. Yeah. Which I was surprised, but I was thankful because I was ready to leave. So then we went home and started that process. Just the nights, I don't know, the grieving, it was a lot. It was like a roller coaster, literally. There's like nights where I just remember like nonstop crying. And then there's times where I was just numb, and then times where I was mad at God. But I knew I needed to lean on him, but I found myself like being distracted with my phone, like, to be honest. Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
And You know, God knows that, but you know, you worked through it, and I think you definitely did it.
Thanks.
At the end of the day, it was definitely trying times, but I think you did actually lean on God, which is.
Well, what's crazy is I was trying to numb myself with my phone, like distract myself, and then my phone got stolen the day before Mother's Day.
Oh yeah.
And then on top of that, so I was mad that my phone got stolen before Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And then we got a new phone the next day, and then that phone was locked, and then T-Mobile and AT&T couldn't figure out why it was locked.
Right.
And it was like, God was just telling me, you need to sit down in your feelings and time with me. Like I had no choice. Like I had no phone for a week. I know it sounds crazy to say, like I had no phone,
right.
but it's like no phone for a week.
2025, that's a big deal.
And so I was forced to just, spend time with him and get in my word, literally. And I know during that time I was thinking, like, why me? Like, why, if this happens to 1 to 2% of individuals, like, why me, Lord?
Right.
But then, like, I came to a realization, like, why not me? Because, as a child of God, you're not promised to have like a pain-free life. Like, you're going to go through trials. And it's those trials that really test your faith and help your faith grow. And that's literally what happened.
Right.
How were you feeling during that time?
Realistically, I felt like I needed to just be strong for you. As a man, we don't really express emotion very often, but we feel all of the stuff. It just doesn't come out, physically.
Yeah.
But I felt all the range of emotions. Like you said, it was just a whirlwind. So it was hard to kind of wrap our minds around it. But through it all, I just kind of wanted to be there for you. Like, that was my biggest concern, just to make sure that you were okay physically, one, because you were still in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But just, mentally and spiritually as well. And, it's tough because at the end of the day, I'm not your foundation. God is your foundation. So there's only so much I can do. Yeah. There's only so much we could do. And I think that's what really made me realize, like, even as the head of our household, as the man, it's like, I'm supposed to point us back to Jesus.
Yeah.
And, I've said it before, but in times like this, you don't have another choice.
Yeah. So
that's really all you could do. So that's what we did. And
yeah, I wanted to share some scriptures that, like, I really focused on. So Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10 says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God." Psalms 34:18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit." And then James chapter 1 verses 2-4, "Consider it pure joy because the testing of your faith produces perseverance." So it's just crazy, like, in your darkest times, some nights were long. And it's just like, even though I just felt like so sad and depressed, it's like I always felt Jesus though. And while it didn't take away my sadness, it was like I always felt his presence. And it was just a reminder for myself, like, he's always with you. Like, you're never alone during those times.
All right.
During my post-op appointment, they told us that we had to wait 6 weeks to be intimate again. How long do you think we lasted?
Probably about 4.
The heart wants. But the doctor also said, like, she said I lost 1 liter of blood. That's a lot. That's crazy. Yeah. But she was saying that it was just bad luck. Like, there was no risk factors that I had. There was no blockage. It just happened. There's nothing I could have done. And just thinking, like, having 1 fallopian tube, I think I was talking to her about that. Like, I was worried because it already took us a while to get pregnant, and then now with 1 fallopian tube. And it's just crazy how God's just amazing, because she was saying, like, even with 1 fallopian tube, you can still get pregnant. She was even saying, like, because I still have my left ovary, that if the left ovary produces the egg, the right fallopian tube could reach over and grab the left egg. I was like, what? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So God's design is just so intentional. Do you know that? I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't pass anatomy class, so I had no idea.
That's crazy. So really just surrendering everything to him, and, like, my grief, my fears, my plans that I had planned. That was what we did during that time. I took a test probably 3 weeks after. surgery, and it was really just to see, like, I don't know, like, do your levels go back to normal? I wanted to see what's going to be a negative test, and it was negative. And about 7 weeks after surgery, I had an extra test, and I wasn't thinking anything of it, but I remember thinking, like, oh, I haven't started my period. I'll just take it just because I have an extra test. And it was positive. And I remember looking at it and I was like, wait, what? And I started screaming your name. Do you remember?
Yeah. I thought you were like, saw a bug or something. That's really what I thought. So I kind of took my time coming up there. I'm like, she's just being dramatic. But
that was crazy.
Yeah.
But after the test, I still couldn't believe it because I'm like, I don't know, like your level, I don't know, the levels are weird. I don't know, like positive, like what are you talking about? And then I went to the ER the next day because I could not wait. So I went to the emergency room, and so I was just in disbelief. But then also, you know, it's crazy because they told me once you have an ectopic pregnancy, your risk of it happening again, it goes up from 1% to 2% to 10% to 20%.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Wild. So I was scared that if I was pregnant, that it would be in the wrong spot. And then they did the ultrasound, and we are pregnant, and it's implanted in the right spot. And just knowing that God had a plan the whole time, and you know, even though we couldn't see it, he's just working behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah. Even while we were grieving.
Yeah.
You know, because there were nights where weeks after, even probably up to close to a month after this happened, you would still, you know, wake up in the middle of the night crying. And, you know, so yeah, we were still heavy hearted and grieving, and, you know, God already had a plan. So it just kind of reminded us to, you know, rely on him because he knows best. And, you know, all things work together for, you know, the good of those who believe in the Lord. So
yes. So now we are 25 weeks pregnant with a baby boy.
Baby boy.
Sorry, you probably have lipstick now. Okay. But just walking through grief and gratitude at the same time is just a weird process. It's hard to explain because it's like I'm grieving her still, but like being in awe of the miracles that God can do. It's just proof that God like restores in his own timing. But yeah, if you're watching this and you're going through something similar, just know, you know, God has your back. And if you lost a fallopian tube, you can get pregnant still. And that God is faithful, and through him, anything's possible. Yep.
We love you, and God loves you.
All right, y'all. Peace out.
Next time.